What is a bait and switch? Well, it's something I think we're gonna see a lot of this year. I am already seeing it. Okay, so a bait and switch is when a lender says, oh, I'm gonna get you this, it's so good. And you're like, oh my God, that's so much better. That's so amazing, this lender's so great. And then right before closing, they switch it. Yeah, to something worse, something that screws you over. And you're like, oh my God, does this really happen? Yeah, it happens every day. And I actually expect this and next year to be one of the biggest years, 2 years, of bait and switches. Here's why. So I actually talked about this in a VA video a little bit ago. And we're basically in the Hunger Games of lending. That's what 2022 is. Only the strong are gonna survive, and there's gonna be a lot of people desperately clawing to stay in the business. And the way you stay in the business is you keep on having deals close. So, you know, they may not have the best purchase process, they may not be the best at picking up clients, they may not have the best rates, but they may be super good at lying. So here's how the con works so you guys can avoid it. And it's so easy, guys. It's so easy to not become a victim of this. So I want you to learn this phrase, locked loan estimate. Okay, locked loan estimate. Let's make it our mantra. Locked loan estimate, locked loan estimate, locked loan estimate. Yes, I'm really doing this. Locked loan estimate, it will haunt you. Locked loan estimate, are you doing it with me? Locked loan estimate, okay. So when do you get a locked loan estimate? First of all, you need to be in contract. So I say this because otherwise I'm gonna have 15 text messages that say, I want a locked loan estimate, my name's Bob. And I'm like, dude, Bob, you don't have an app. Are you in contract? No, I'm not, but send me a locked loan. No, okay. This is for when you're in contract to buy a house. Because what we're seeing right now is we'll see, like, I had this happen on a deal recently where I was like, oh my God. And I tried to stop the client. I was like, oh, locked, you have this locked loan estimate. Like, here's all these articles. This is what you need to do. And they were just like, he promised in an email. And I was like, oh, you're gonna get hosed. Okay, so you need to be in contract. Okay, so in contract means that you wrote an offer on the house and the seller accepted it. That means you're in contract. So when you're working with a lender, you may be like, well, my pre-approval says this, so that's what my loan will. No, only if you're locked. Now, if we did a lock and roll because you're working with me, yes. If you're with a lender where you didn't lock it, then no. Do not assume your loan is locked ever, because most of the time it's not. Okay, so you're like, oh, well, I'm in contract, so definitely they'll lock me at the rate of my pre-approval or they'll call me. No, no they won't. No, they won't. So the first way we'll see this is we'll see loan disclosures go out with a really low rate. So you get the loan disclosures, you get the first loan estimate, and you're like, oh my God, the rate's so great. I love this lender. Yay! But you forgot to check if it was locked, and it wasn't. It was floating. Okay, if you are in the loan process and your loan is not locked, that rate could be anything. You are at that lender's mercy. Yeah, we try to lock everyone day one. You know, if they want to play the market, that's fine. But the minute someone gets into contract, if they're not already locked through lock and roll, someone on the team is calling to say, hey, let's talk about where rates are right now. Do you want me to lock? That is not normal in the industry. Okay, there's some lenders that do that, but there's a lot of lenders that don't because they're preying on you guys not paying attention. Okay, also, you know, there are some lenders that like to play shorter lock games. So for instance, a 30-day rate lock, you're going to have a higher rate than if you're doing a 15-day rate lock, but rates could go up in those 15 days, and that 15-day rate lock could be higher than what the 30 would have been if you had originally locked. Okay, so locked loan estimate. If your loan estimate is locked and you can see the interest rate, the lender fees, that won't change. So important, so important. Where I see these bait and switches is I see people get sent loan estimates that are not locked. And then they get, you know, a couple days before closing and I get the panicked call. Jen, the lender's saying the rate's gonna be 0.5% higher than what they originally told me. Here's the original thing they sent me. Here's the thing they're sending me now. What do I do? And I look at the first one, I'm like, it's not locked. You accept a higher rate or you have to negotiate with them to get a lower rate, but you have nothing to stand on if that loan estimate is not locked. Okay? You know, and the other thing that we're starting to see is we'll be in contract, we'll be like ready to close, and we'll have lenders like coming out of the woodwork at our clients saying, oh, hey, I can do this rate now. Guys, if you're leaving a lender who's about to close your loan for someone who hasn't even give you a locked loan estimate because in an email they said they're going to get you a lower rate, feels a little risky to me per se. You know, in this one situation where it happened with us recently, the rate was so low that this lender was offering. The way they were offering it, I was like, there's no way. Because I looked at the way the pricing broke down. And I actually called the head of our secondary and I said, hey, like, is there any way this is real? You know, because I'm not seeing it in the market anywhere else. And he said, there's no way. There's no way. And I said to that client, have you gotten a locked loan estimate? Like, if you want to go with this guy and if he can really do it, I give you my blessing. But like, do you have a locked loan estimate? And he says, Jen, I have an email from him. You know, I trust him. Do I even need to say what happened? So that rate, when it came to closing, oh God, they hadn't locked it. So the buyer ended up with a higher rate. What was the point of all of that? Well, the point was so that the lender could get a deal so that they could stay alive. That was the point of all of that. So you guys really need to watch out for bait and switches right now. Like, really be aware of it. I get those calls far too much where someone has gotten into contract, their lender said they were going to get this rate, they got the loan estimate, they didn't know to look if it was locked or not locked, and lo and behold, it wasn't locked. They got close to closing, because the lenders wait till you're close to closing because it's harder to switch. They got close to closing and then the rate was way higher. Or the borrower had to pay more and the rate was higher. I hear it too much. So guys, watch out for the bait and switches. I'm gonna have a link to an article I did with Time 2 years ago, I think, about how to read a loan estimate. Let me say this again. If you are in contract and your loan estimate is not locked, that rate means nothing. It is garbage, it is garbo, it is trash. You know, if people say, oh, will you match this rate? I'm like, it's not locked. It means nothing. It means nothing if it's not locked. So the power you have as a consumer is once that lock is placed. So please, 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 guys, do not become a victim of the bait and switch. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If you look at 6 lenders and one is way, way, way lower than the other 5, odds aren't the other 5 are ripping you off. Odds are number 6 is gonna do a bait and switch. So be careful, guys. As always, questions or comments, please reach out. I'm licensed in 48 states and I'm happy to answer your questions. Thanks.